right off the bat that this is going to be a long one. I know even before I started, it was going to be over 10 minutes, and you saw the timestamp, so apologies. Now, the first thing I do want to address is the weirdness of the vlog's updates this week. Technically, I did post a vlog for last week's episode, as on time for me as this show has been this semester, but season. I work for college. But I took it down within the first 10 hours. And this is why, and this is where I really want to get this out of my chest for my own sake. That's what these things are for, right? But I talk about Alex's subplot and about coming out and everything, and I mentioned how I was disappointed that she just wasn't gay, that she has to go through the whole coming out story arc. And I mentioned that just bugged me from a writing standpoint, and I think I was trying to be an ally, as in these things should just be accepted by now. And I record the vlog, I post it, and while I'm on Twitter, because I can go on Twitter again because I've seen the episode, one of the many Supergirl related people I follow retweets a story about how a family was watching the episode, and the 13-year-old girl started crying when Alex was having her big scene with Maggie at the end. And yeah, I felt like, to reference the Boondocks, I felt like I should be fired for being an ignorant white person. So yeah, that was like that night. Some point the next morning, I took the episode down. Then I listened to that week's Supergirl Radio, and they got an email. They read an email from one of their viewers about how a woman who watches the show was going through the exact same thing as Alex at the exact same time, and that made me feel just extra dumb, because that is part of the reason why I loved season 1 so much, is part of why season 1 meant so much to me, is I was able to take stuff that was happening in the show and help it with stuff I was going through at that time. So it was just, I just felt really humiliated, basically. Really embarrassed, and it bothers me because I'm trying not to be that ignorant white person. One of my goals is I want to be an ally. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, alt-right guy. God, thank God I've never been that bad, but still, it's just, I just felt really, really terrible. And with everything else that was going on, it's just basically that week my depression, I'm just going to say my depression was cranked to 11. So, yeah. Now, as for why this episode is late, why I posted last week's episode vlog why I posted the way I did, is I wanted to rewatch this episode before I vlogged about it, because my ADD had kicked in and I had missed so much. Like, I completely missed the part about John being in the bar in the opening scene. So I've just rewatched it. So I'm carrying on talking about Alex. Again, coming from someone who has never had to deal with that. Despite what some of my coworkers and what everything was like, because I like to occasionally get my nails painted. I'm into My Little Pony. I like dresses and jewelry. I don't wear dresses, but I like looking at them. They're very nice. So yeah, despite all what the stereotypes and certain people in my life might tell you, I'm straight. I am just straight as an arrow. And to reference of one of my favorite movies, Chasing Amy by Kevin Smith, who will be directing an episode of Supergirl in the coming weeks. Maybe your I wish I could. I really should have looked up the actual quote because I knew I wanted to reference it. But it's like maybe your sexuality was just a straight path, but I didn't have that luxury. It wasn't like that for me. Something along those lines. So, as someone who cannot relate to Alex in that regard at all, I still think that's this storyline is being well done. So much so that my brain has convinced me that has been the A story instead of the B or the C story. Which incidentally is part of why this episode's going to be so long. I got a lot to talk about. There's just so much going on in this episode. And again, maybe it's because my ADD was cranked, but yeah, I really did have to watch it a second time just to absorb everything that was happening. But yes, Alex's storyline was great. Both of her big talks with Kara were wonderful. Making the folks at Supergirl Radio happy because I know they were talking about that Alex Kara needed to be the first person Alex talked to about this. So yes, and I love those scenes. Oh God, I'm sorry. This drink is carbonated, but I just love it. Feels like we're seeing more of Kara this season. Like she's in her civilian identity more often. She's in her civilian identity in the DEO. Though that brings me to one of the points I wanted to bring up. I love the opening scene. I love drunk Kara. We need more drunk Kara. Should she have been in the alien bar drinking alien drinks in her secret identity? That seems like that had no foresight, because Ms. Martian gave her the drink, says alien it's good for aliens like you too. I'm fine with Ms. Martian knowing it makes sense because she's already been absorbed by the circle. I don't know if we ever got an on-screen reveal. And maybe she doesn't have any idea who Kara Danvers is. I mean, I think that's the conceit. It's like, okay, there's this mousy looking girl who looks human, but she's obviously an alien if she's in here, or maybe she's a friend of Maggie. And maybe they don't know who Kara Danvers is, but that still seems like a big misstep, especially since, Alex calls her by name in that scene. Kara Danvers drunk. I never thought it's... And then we have the fact that Maggie at least knows her name. I don't remember if Kara and Maggie have ever met. Yeah, I know she's met Supergirl, but the fact that she knows who Kara is, and did she not know Kara in the bar? I mean, oh, and don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people who says the secret identity is stupid, and I have no problem with the whole glasses aspect because of my own personal experience of not recognizing one of my friends when she wore glasses for the first time. And it's just that scene is so troublesome. It's hilarious, but it just, oh, Kara, what did you do? Oh. Mon-El. Mon-El was definitely one of my talking points, because I remember I talked about how he skirted the line of being unlikable. And I genuinely stopped liking him for a little bit in this episode when I found out he was not a loan shark, the hired muscle for a mobster. Not only that was he doing that, but he tried to justify it and insisted it was okay. Like, up until now, you can make the argument he wasn't doing anything wrong, because, okay, yeah, he was having sex with that woman, he was taking her credit card, but those were all things she offered freely. So, okay, it's sketchy, but you can make the argument that technically he didn't do anything wrong. And, okay, maybe we can question alien morality, different cultures or whatever, but the fact that he was beating people up, no. Beating people up is... Okay, I know I was about to say beating up people was wrong in a show about superheroes. That would definitely have been a misnomer. That's... That's more of a slippery slope than I realized, but the whole beating people up for money, beating people up who haven't done anything wrong for money, that's just, no. No, Mon-El, no. So, my phone informed me that I was out of space, and due to various circumstances, it is now 12 hours later. And I'm finally getting back to this. Oh, gosh. So anyway, Mon-El. They made him very unlikable for about 5 minutes, but then they immediately brought him back. Because I really enjoyed him trying to be a hero at the end. I even liked his line, I already regret this. I want to know what's going on with that little girl, though. Was she trying to catch the car with her brain? I genuinely don't know. And, as usual, the cast saves, because I would have found Mon-El absolutely deplorable if not for Chris Wood. So, cheers to him. So leads to two segues, but I think I want to talk about the Guardian thing first. And I mentioned last vlog that I don't mind James becoming a superhero, and I bought his motivation. And, this was backed up because I understand the feeling of powerless, the feeling of wanting to do more. Sorry. However, I'm no longer quite as okay with him being Guardian, because they've changed so much about the Guardian identity. It seems like they just should have made something up at this point, because he's all dark and he has a modulator that gives him a Batman voice. And it's just like, okay, at this point, make a new character. I mean, really. Or, okay, fine, keep the Guardian name, but drop the shield motif. I mean, so I don't have a problem with James being a superhero. I'm just really wishing they would have dug more, created something more original, or at least honored the source material more. But again, I like his bromance with Win. Speaking of things I don't handle right, because I've something that slowly dawned on me with this rewatch. I don't like that the villain was Parasite. Sorry, but My Little Pony is sinking in. Because, again, I feel that they changed too much. First of all, the whole thing where he's obsessed with climate change. Okay, that seemed weird. And again, just going to the point where I think they're missing the point of the character. Rudy Jones was a parasite before he got mutated into the energy draining thing. That was that's sort of the point of the character. He's the guy who, excuse me, says, hey, can I have $5 just to get me through the day? I'm really short this week. And, like, never pays you back. And, as far as I understand, the origin is always different, but he's always been that kind of low life. So I don't like changing that. Again, the climate change angle just really confused me. I guess I don't mind him being a scientist so much. Maybe if he was, like, mooching off the work of his coworkers. But then by the time he mutated, he was just a mindless beast. And also feels like it misses the point of what makes him a threat. I am mostly familiar with Superman animated series version, but but the way they did it, that version was not only did he absorb someone's power, that's another thing they missed completely. He absorbed the powers. He also absorbed the memories and personality. So what made him dangerous is not only that he gets all of Superman's powers and, hijinks ensue, but he knows who Superman is and can imitate his voice, and that's a lot more interesting. It's a bigger threat than just a mindless monster, because he could, if he had the scientist angle, he could really do some serious damage. I'm also confused as to how that, Supergirl was just drained in age and can be restored with solar lamps, but John Jones needed a blood transfusion. That I get why they did it because they wanted to do some stuff with Magan and the blood transfusion, which I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes. But the inconsistency was really weird. Though that leads to, I guess, what would be the big controversy of this episode is Supergirl kills Parasite. On the surface, I don't mind it because they addressed it, that she made it clear she didn't want to do it, and while she didn't have any dialogue, once again, props to Melissa Benoist, she was sad that she had to do it. My issue is I don't think they did a good enough job of this is our displaying our only option. Because, this is where I end up differing from a lot of Superman fans I know is I don't, or just Batman fans or superhero fans in general. I don't mind characters who have the whole vow, I will never kill. I don't mind when they kill, as long as they make it clear that there are no other options. I mean, that's all. My issues with Man of Steel aside, him snapping Zod's neck is not one of those issues. Everyone likes to make the jokes of, oh, that family could have just gotten up and walked away, or Superman kind of picked him up and made him leave, covered his eyes. That doesn't solve the bigger issue of they don't have at the time in that universe, kryptonite hasn't been discovered yet. They don't have a way to contain Zod. There was no option presented in the story of the universe. I mean, if the writers had done something differently, okay, but as is, I will stand by that decision Superman made. I don't think he had another choice. Yeah, but that's probably a whole vlog in and of itself. So I don't mind so much that they killed Parasite, but they didn't do enough job to make him more of a threat than like somebody else like Astra or Non, because he wasn't, to me, he didn't seem as that big of a threat compared to them. Or B, to just do a better job of at least invent a device and have it destroyed. Make it clear that Supergirl had no other option other than to destroy him. What I do have a problem with Supergirl doing in this episode, and this sort of loops back to the Guardian thing, it bugs me that she immediately tries to X-ray vision him. That just seems like a jerk move on Kara's part. Because if someone just immediately figured out she was Kara Zor-El, she'd be huffy. And, I think she would be right to be. And honestly, this just seems out of character to her for me. I mean, I guess they wanted to address it because, of course it's the internet. Someone's going to say, well, why did Kara just use her X-ray vision if I know who she was? My question is, why does Kara need to know who he is? So far he's made it clear he's there to help. To me, especially this version of Kara, I see her as like, he wants to keep his identity a secret. I'm going to respect that, considering the big deal she made about her secret identity last season. So yeah, that bugs me more than the let's kill Parasprite thing. Oh, cutting back to Kara this episode. I really loved Kara in this episode. Or again, I love this one specific moment because this goes back to what I was talking about last season where she reminds me of my Kara, the Kara I used to write. Where Mon-El calls her like you love saving people because you love that they love you. That is actually a character trait I gave my Kara, that she loved the attention she got from being a superhero. She still, wanted to help people. She still wanted to do the right thing. Her motives for starting it were altruistic, but my version became more addicted to it. To the point where I wrote a scene where she sees the Helen Slater Supergirl movie and she brings up like she like lists all the plot holes and everything wrong with it, and then she goes and that part about where she keeps a low profile and doesn't want anyone to know she was there. Yeah, what about it? Have you met me? Yeah, not a complete one for one comparison, but I just love that little bit I wrote. I amuse myself. And again, this is where I talked about in the interest where this was going to be a long video just because of everything I want to talk about. This is a really real thing for me. Because yes, I am that friend who wants to fix everything. I want to save everybody. I want to help people. And part of it is, that's how I was raised. You help people who need help. It's the right thing to do. But I'm not going to lie and say I don't love the appreciation I get for it. When one of my friends says I just need a hug, not only am I helping them, but I'm getting a hug. I mean, it's win-win. Win-win-win, I don't know. Win was great in this episode. Yeah, I do want to bring up that scene where they're yelling at each other, and, James and Win are yelling at each other, and, James says, give me the suit now, and Win goes, hey, you don't get to boss me around. That's not how this is going to work. Kudos to Win to standing up for himself. So yeah, despite my ragging on it a bit, this is a solid episode overall. It just yeah, this is kind of how I feel about one of the Equestria Girls movies, the third one, Friendship Games. It's both the best and the worst. Because I've had the biggest problem so far this season with this episode. And like the whole blood transfusion thing I only just noticed as I was recording this, but this is also some of the very best. I mean, Melissa Benoist brought her A game. The storyline with Alex was extremely well done. There's just a couple things that rub me the wrong way. I'm Since this is good 2 videos, I'm tempted to go back and edit stuff anyway, since we're gonna have to splice it together anyway. Yeah, going back to the Alex thing, again, that was just so well done, and part of me wants to say her being so upset about not being liked back by the cute girl seems trivial, but I know if I was in that situation, I'd be freaking devastated. Fortunately, I've never been in that exact situation where, I open my heart to a girl and she shoots me down. But just, yeah, I felt so bad for her. I'd probably react in much the same way, call in sick to work and start drinking. And it's one of those things where I agree with Maggie, and I don't think she was doing it out of any malice. And, Alex took it as she didn't like me. I don't even think it was that. I think she was genuine in her reasons. Because that makes sense. You just discovered you are, again, to me it makes sense. I follow the logic. I don't know if this is how it works at all. Someone just hand me a freaking shovel. But yeah, to me it makes sense if, someone came out to me and say, I realize that I am gay because I feel for you, then yeah, I would want to make sure that they are, it's genuine emotion and not just infatuation. And, I can't speak for the fresh off the boat aspect angle, whatever, but it makes sense. I mean, plus the fact, technically Maggie is just out of a breakup. Maybe she doesn't want to make Alex her rebound. I was in a similar situation where I got out of a really bad relationship. I dated someone, and I think I made that person my rebound. I felt terrible about it. Yeah. So, yeah, this episode is a really mixed bag now that I've had a chance to sit back and